They went out there and got it. Just like you're here right now, you have to go out there and achieve recovery. How's it going, guys? Miguel here from CFS Recovery. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about how nobody recovers by luck. And that statement couldn't be more true. You know, we look at all these people who are recovering. We see all these channels on YouTube, people being interviewed. Oh, this person did this person did that. Well, they're different from me. You know, their situation is unique. I'm a different case. And I'm here to tell you that as crazy as your journey seems, if you have gotten tests and scans done by multiple doctors and they've ruled all other health issues out, and you're experiencing all of these debilitating symptoms of POTS, headaches, nausea, insomnia, chronic fatigue, all the crazy symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome, if you're still experiencing all of them, you are not that different from everybody else who recovered. And of all the people I've talked to, of all the people I've seen, nobody just ends up recovered. It's a very intentional thing that happens where they decide, no, I cannot take this anymore. I'm gonna find the right thing that works for me. So there's a few different things here. You know, one, it's making the decision that I am going to decide right here, right now, that I will no longer be sick. But number two, it's also finding the right approach that works for you, which that can be the harder part. It's a little bit more confusing finding the right thing, but it's super important to just know that people who have recovered did not just end up there on accident. It was a very, very intentional process, a grueling intentional process that they had to go through, where they had to decide every single day, every single hour, every minute that they're gonna choose to think different, that they're gonna choose recovery over staying stuck. And it's kind of even weird just hearing me say that. Why would anybody choose to stay sick than recover? Well, the way to recover is very difficult. It's simple, but it's difficult and requires a lot of discipline and repetition and stick-to-itiveness when the times get tough. And there's one thing that really needs to happen several times, and it's having these mind shifts, having these aha moments where you realize, holy cow, my symptoms aren't flaring up as bad as I thought they would. Wow, I was able to actually do way more than I used to be able to do. And you have these moments where you actually surprise yourself, where you have these realizations where something clicks in your brain and your brain shifts from a survival fight or flight mode to a more normal functioning mode. And most of the time, whenever that happens, it's unpredictable. Sometimes you can't really see it coming. All you can focus on is putting your best foot forward in order to have these mind shifts. And the way neuroplasticity works is you have to do something over and over again and put a lot of intentional, conscious energy and make a decision every single day to choose that, and eventually your brain just clicks. You have this mind shift. So there's actually a video right over here about rock splitting. So rock splitting is the perfect analogy here. You have to do things over and over again, even when you're not seeing that many results. You can see this guy over here, he's hitting the rock over and over again. He's probably tired. He's probably hit that rock thousands and thousands of times, and it doesn't look like it's changing. He's probably been doing that for days and days at a time. But he's sticking to the plan because he knows eventually that rock will crack and it will split. So he will do this thousands of times over and over again, even when he's not seeing any major results. But eventually what happens is that rock splits right down the middle. So that's a perfect example of sticking to it, having an intention, a clear focus of something you're trying to do, and you're not stopping. It's very intentional what his goal is, and he's not stopping no matter what. And so when it comes to recovery, like I said, no one recovers by luck. This also translates to other areas in life. Look at the best athletes in the world. Yes, they do have talent. For example, LeBron James, Lionel Messi, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson. Do you think that they became the best in the world and did what they were able to do by accident? I get what you're probably thinking, Miguel, what does this have to do with sports? We're not trying to be the best in the world. We just want to have our life back. But for any person who wants to accomplish something, they didn't just end up there on accident. They had to put the intention behind it and put the energy into it and show up even when they didn't feel like it. So all the top athletes in the world do this. That's the one thing they have in common, is that they didn't get there by being lucky. All of the top business executives in the world, they didn't end up there by being lucky. It was very intentional. They had a clear goal and a focus, and they kind of mapped it out and followed that plan. Even if the roadmap isn't perfect and set out every step of the way to get to your goal, you need to have a roadmap at least for the foreseeable future, or at least stick to something, some kind of framework. Stick to something that has helped solve the problem that you're trying to solve. And if other people have been in your shoes and they've gotten to the end of the journey, you need to figure out what exactly did they do to get there. And if it worked for this person and that person and that person, and there's undeniable proof that it works, and I sound very similar to them, then you have to follow what they did, right? And that's a way to be very intentional about what you're doing. Anybody who has accomplished anything significant in their life has done so because they were intentional about what they were doing and they didn't leave it up to luck or time or, just hoping things fall into place. No, they went out there with their intention and followed a specific plan to get there. They were doing actionable things. They weren't just waiting for recovery to fall into their lap or waiting for this award or this perfect job, the dream job, or this accolade to fall into their lap. No, they went out there and got it. Just like you're here right now, you have to go out there and achieve recovery. It's not something that comes to you. You have to absolutely earn every step of the way. And it's really not easy. It's honestly one of the hardest things I've ever done. Not one of the hardest, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Easily the hardest thing I've ever done. And I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I'm not saying I'm the greatest person ever, but growing up, high school, straight A student, all throughout high school, first honors, I was wrestling team captain, football team captain. I built a few businesses. I was a top personal trainer in a company. I essentially went from the worst personal trainer in the company, could not sell anything for about 6 months, to being one of the best trainers in the company. But that's because I was intentional about what I wanted to do. Same thing with building a video business. I was intentional that I wanted to make an impact in my city and work with some of the biggest brands. And the only way I did that was being intentional about what I was doing. So I didn't get there by luck. Same thing with this channel right now. We put out over 50 videos every single month, and that doesn't happen by accident. We're very intentional. So if you want to achieve anything, not even just in recovery, you need to be intentional about what you're doing. You can't leave it up to luck. Now, when it comes to recovery, sitting around and hoping that you get better, waiting for time to do its thing, that's not gonna help you. Now, obviously there are times in your recovery where you do have to be patient. You have to let your body recalibrate itself for a few days or a few weeks at a time. I'm not talking about those things. Sitting around, not following any plan at all or jumping from plan to plan and hoping that, maybe I'll get recovered one day. It doesn't happen like that. You have to be very intentional. You get a lot of pushback from the nervous system. Your body will resist the change, but you have to continue moving forward and going through that process in order to achieve that end result, which is you getting your life back. So out of all the people I've worked with, I've never, ever, ever in my life seen somebody recover. They don't just end up there. They have to work their way there. They have to earn it. And that's the only way out. So you have to do specific things in order to recover. You got to figure out what those are. I share a lot of those principles on this channel where I break down, okay, here's what to do in terms of expanding activity. That video is right up here. If you need help just figuring out the science of what's going on, because in recovery, there are principles and frameworks that you absolutely need to know in order to recover, because these are the principles that you fall back on when things get tough. When your body is flaring up with symptoms, you can rely on these principles to kind of dig you out of the hole mentally, because you're going to understand why these symptoms are happening. And you're also going to understand that these symptoms are very temporary. If you want to learn those principles and frameworks, you could also watch a playlist right up here. So there's endless amount of resources online for you to go and learn, but implementation of the knowledge is invaluable. Executing on one idea is infinitely more powerful than reading 10 ideas, but not putting any of them into place or not trying them long enough to see a result from them. So if you can stick to 2 or 3 things to focus on, and in Recovery Jumpstart, in the program we really only focus on 2 things. And I'm going to give you the golden nuggets right here. 1, obviously the golden rule is your success is determined by how well you respond to symptoms. Number 2, you need to just focus on overcoming these adjustment periods and getting through progress cycles. That's it. You can also watch another video up here where I talk more about that. So lots of links for you guys to click on today and go learn more. But I hope you got some value out of this video. I hope it really helps. Again, I'm going to say, for probably the 20th time in this video, nobody recovers by luck. I didn't get lucky. The coaches in the program didn't get lucky. All the people you see online sharing their stories in these podcasts and interviews, they did not get lucky. It was an intentional choice, a decision that they made in order to recover. So you just need to decide, okay, 1, I'm deciding that I need to recover. This is it. I'm going to find something and stick to it no matter what. Number two, it's finding that information. So finding something that resonates with you, make sure you resonate with the messaging. So maybe that's my channel, maybe it's another channel. If you did want some extra help, then make sure to hit the link down below. You can apply to the Recovery Jumpstart program where we create a customized roadmap for you in order to recover. You also have access to your very own assigned Thriver coach, somebody who's been in your shoes, who's been through the depths of this illness and recovered and come out the other side. You also get to be on group calls with other people just like yourself. We're very solution focused, and you have the support of this community along with a host of other things. You can check it out in the link down below and learn about what we do at Recovery Jumpstart, and we'd be happy to help you. So always remember, you are a thriver and you are just one mind shift away from living a life with thriving health. I'll see you in the next video.